you out and about and you see a woman and she clearly by her car, her outfit, all this stuff, her hair, you can clearly tell that this woman has infinitely more money than you. She's beautiful. Do you feel comfortable going up to approach her?
I feel like I know I'd be competing with different type of people. So like, that's a good question, because it's like,
why you think about that answer? I gotta go show them something. I want his answer. I'll be right back. So within the pandemic, I started watching a lot more TV, and it's actually very soothing for me. I know people always try to make TV out to be like something that, oh, it's a waste of time. No, it's not. It's how I unplug. So this is my new favorite app right here. It is called All Black. So y'all seen me film with some of the stars of their shows. It is amazing. So they have some of the best shows you can find out there, baby. From the most dramatic to the funny, you are going to absolutely love it, all right? So when you go in here, it's easy to find all the programs that you want to watch, right? So here's some of my favorites right now. I love Love After Lockup. I love Social Society. Millennials, let me tell you this, okay? And you know, one of the things I love most about this platform is that it's completely ad-free and it's affordable. This is not a very expensive platform at all for you to be able to get access to shows. And when you come here, you can watch the shows and sign up for this actually using my code, which is directly above or below this video. It's a whole link up there, which will allow you to sign up, and your first month will be free. So you can try it out and see if you like it. I know you will love it. You will stick with it. I have it on every single TV in the house because like when I'm cleaning and I'm watching a show, I want to keep it going in that other room. So that's just how I do it. Oh my God, this one right here, baby, let me tell you, you can look at this and see how good it's gonna be. A house divided, baby. You ain't seen nothing till you seen that show. Before we get back over there, I just want to tell you, if you are looking for something amazing to watch on TV, you know, rather it's just something to listen to in the background or something that you can just sit down and watch some good grown folk stuff, get All Black. You can stream it on pretty much any device, anywhere. It's absolutely amazing. And as I mentioned before, when you use the link directly above or below this video, using my code MJ Harris, you are able to get this for the first month completely free. If you like it, stick with it. If you don't, then you don't have to. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, you're gonna love it. So let's get back over here and talk to Marco and DJ. What was your answer?
So, I just feel like I'd be competing with different type of men. I don't know.
But see, that's the point I wanted to bring up, Ashley. I'm asking all these questions. I want to draw into this point where I think a lot of men get it wrong. I think a lot of straight men get it wrong. And a lot of gay men who subscribe to heteronormative mindsets, meaning they take on the mindsets that straight men have been taught, they get this wrong also. Look at the statistics, okay? And I know the audience is broad, but I'm just gonna speak about black men just for this example, because that's where the statistic applies. As a black man who's heterosexual, who's not in prison, right? Yeah. Who has upward mobility, meaning professionally, whether you have a degree or not.
Right.
You are on a professional track that's going to allow your income and lifestyle to increase.
Right.
Regardless of what you do for a living, right? For every one of you, there are multiple black women as well as other women who may not be black, right? Who also are attracted to you. So as a man, you've been taught this compete mindset. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't compete, but what I am saying is that if you look at the way that the odds are stacked, why do you feel like you have to jump over 85 hoops to get the attention of these women when the reality is that there's good women out here who want you as you are? That doesn't mean you shouldn't be your best self, but it's being your best self for you. The numbers don't add up. That I think that men are taught wrong. I think that y'all are taught from a very early age. Think about it, from a very early age, y'all are taught, you know, see if that girl will give you her number. So you compete for their attention. Beyond that, from a very early age, you know, when it comes to finally, you know, getting intimate, it's about, yeah, she finally gave it to me. Like somehow or another, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, you know, it's, you know, I gotta pursue her. But the reality is, it's not that I'm saying don't pursue, but what I am saying is that it sets a scenario for y'all to be manipulated and controlled by these women, right? Because yes, there's a whole lot of good women out there who's not gonna use that to their advantage, but there's a whole lot of them out there that's turning good men into simps. You see what I'm saying? Where they are able to manipulate and control you. And there's a whole lot of mothers watching this right now. Your sons need to be watching this so that when your sons come home, he ain't coming home brokenhearted from some woman who manipulated him based on these old school teachings that you gave him, that he needs to be working hard for her attention, when the reality is they need to be working for one another's attention. Why are you competing for somebody who's not competing for you?
That's true. And I feel like this whole thing is like, it's like a paradigm shift, because like this is what we grew up on. Like women, they was taught
like play hard to get and all.
Yeah, play hard to get, and just like
that's all fine and well.
I don't know.
And then as like little boys, we're taught to like treat them as princesses. And
are you being treated as a prince?
But
are you being treated as a prince?
Exactly.
She should be treated as a princess if you treat her as a prince.
Yeah.
Don't undervalue yourself.
Bro,
Is what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say men should not be undervaluing themselves. I'm not saying you should undervalue women, because I think sometimes women who maybe operate at a lower vibration will hear this information and be like, oh, are you saying that they should undervalue us? No. What I'm saying is that it's equal. She does not deserve to be treated like a queen unless you're treated like a king. And vice versa, it goes both ways. She's not your princess unless you are her prince.
Yeah.
You do not need to bend over backwards and go through, because let's call a thing a thing. We call it her playing hard to get, but what it really is emotional unavailability. It keeps her freed up from having to attach to you, so you can pursue her. And then you don't get that validation, and then how it starts, it stays. So you end up spending the duration of your relationship continuing to pursue her. Wondering why the odds ain't in your favor. What you about to say?
Let me ask you a question.
What?
I'm on the first date, right?
Okay.
So, all right. So I'm like, okay, cool. She used to a certain type of lifestyle. So I'm gonna take her out to Nobu.
She's used to a certain lifestyle that she paid for, that her previous boyfriend paid for. Okay, so she can afford it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm out at Nobu. I take her to Nobu.
Nobu's a very expensive restaurant in LA, Miami, New York.
Yeah. So I take her out to Nobu, right? And when I take her to Nobu, she when we done eating all that stuff, then the bill come out, right?
Okay.
So I paid it. Okay, cool, because it was the first date, right? The second date, it comes around and
the bill comes. Who should pay it?
The bills come. Who should pay it?
So here's my thing, first of all, okay? This applies to women, this applies to family, this applies to everyone. Just because you earn more than them does not mean you should be supplementing their expenses. Just because you earn more than somebody does not mean that you now become their form of public assistance. No one is entitled to your money just because you have more than them. We had to get that through our heads as a society. Well, you got it, yeah, and I work for it. Okay, so let's start there. And this is not to say that men should not pay for dates.
Yeah.
This is not to say that it should not be Dutch or whatever. I'm not saying that. If it's a first date, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you why if I'm in your shoes, why I would be willing to pay for the first date. I'm gonna call it a thing. It has nothing to do with chivalry. It has to do with establishing a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Period. And it has nothing to do with male, female, male, male. On a first date, if I ask you out, if I ask you to leave your house, then I need to make it very clear, not that I'm trying to have power over you. I need to make it very clear that I operate within my full power. And so if I ask you out to say, hey, I'd love to have dinner with you, I'm going to pay for that date. So I don't come there looking like a weak ass person. Okay? How you gonna ask somebody to leave their house and not pay the bill? Now beyond that, now y'all dating and everything like that, right? You dating. Right. And so when it comes to dating and y'all going out all the time, I don't think that whoever brings up going out should always pay the bill. So what does that mean? It's almost like you're being penalized for being proactive about saying, let's go eat. Every time you say, babe, let's go eat, you gotta pay the bill? No. I think at a certain point in time, if you were a real woman, then what's gonna happen is she ain't gonna let you pay every bill. It's gonna be, hey, we're going out to dinner tonight, Tuesdays and Fridays is our date night, whatever it may be. Baby, I say Tuesdays, you take Friday.
Yeah.
She's not gonna sit up there and try to live on your dime. And if she does comfortably sit there, when that bill comes, she start looking at her purse or running to the bathroom, make her a thing of the past. I'm telling this right now, because how it starts, it stays.
That is fact.
That is fact.
Because you're right. Because if I paid for the first couple days, unless I felt like doing this for the rest, paying for everything.
Because think about it like this. Think about it like this. I've seen this with a lot of guys. I've definitely seen this. I remember when I first got into financial services, I had a client. He was going through a divorce, right? So whatever reason within the divorce, he started thinking about getting his own insurance and stuff like that together, right?
Right.
And within the whole process of the whole thing, he also had to buy his soon-to-be ex-wife life insurance. That was a part of the divorce settlement. He had to pay for policy on himself and keep one on her or something like that.
Yeah.
So long story short, he started opening up about how painful the divorce was. He was extremely well earning. He made a lot of money. To my knowledge, she didn't really make much of anything, although she was highly educated. She was working when they first met. Beyond that, he was a good man. I mean, I could hear him talk about himself. You know, and I knew him outside of just that context. He's a very good guy. Long story short, one of the things he told me about, he says, if I could do it all over again, I would have never, ever, 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 ever married a woman who was willing to be financially dependent on me. He said in the beginning, it boosted my ego that I could pay for everything, that I was that dude that was paying for everything, buying the cars, buying the bags, paying for the lifestyle, paying for the vacations, paying for the dinners. Dang. He said, but inevitably what happened was he had a business. And what ended up happening was when that business started losing money, started going through a period of time, and at the time they had some rocky stuff going on in their relationship. Yeah. He was left to question, is she being distant from me because now I'm not bringing the same level of money to provide for her, or is she being distant from me because of our other issues? Are those other issues being exacerbated? Are they being made larger because of the money? He could never separate the two because he knew that. And the thing was, it really messed up his self-esteem because he could never be certain, does she really want me for me? Or if I didn't have this money and didn't provide for her, would she still be there? And that's a critical thing. I don't care if you're a millionaire, 100,000-aire, 1,000. You need to be able to know that your person is there for you. It's like with me, for example. Yeah. I will never, ever, ever, ever do a second date with a guy who, if I'm pulling out my camera to film something for social media, he jumping in the shot, or he constantly taking pictures of me. You too hungry, you too thirsty, you thirsty for it. And then I will never know, are you really here for me, or you here for this camera? Exactly. You know, pay attention to that, because what feels like an ego boost in the beginning could very much so become poison to your self-esteem later on. And that's why it's about making sure that she show up financially. Even if you have the capability to pay for everything, she needs to show up financially and consistently do it so that you can understand that you have value to her other than what you spend.
That's facts. Cause cause when you go out, right, and you see somebody that look like they got more money, and it can also make you insecure, cause cause you know the girl that you with. If I had your friend, if I had that mindset, right, like I felt like, right, if I felt like my girl was only with me for my money,
or that your money was attractive. Because you wouldn't be with her if you thought she was only with you for the money, but if you knew she was attracted to that lifestyle.
Yeah, she was attracted
to it.
Then I know she could leave me like that.
Exactly, the most instant.
For the next one
Remember when we were at the mall? Yeah. I'm not giving no names. We were at the mall and there was a celebrity there. A very famous celebrity. A very famous celebrity. And we were coming out of a super high-end design store. Yo! We were coming out of a high-end design store. I'm not gonna say no names.
Well, you know what you're talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about.
We were coming out of this high-end designer store, right? Yeah. That guy's got money. Marco's coming out. Marco's got all these bags from that store. Okay, so we're walking out. He got his bags, and then dude was with his girl. Marco was actually paying attention to dude because he's a big fan of the guy. Exactly. And so Marco looks over at the guy. The guy thought that he was looking at the girl that he was with.
I wasn't even looking at it.
But he thought she was. You were. So the guy looked at you and then looked at her and then yanked her close. And I'm thinking to myself,
I'm like, bro, I like your music, bro.
But I thought to myself when that happened, and I said this to Marcos. Marcos turned the phone off because I'm seeing this guy who I'm a big fan of. He's acting like this. I said, it's not about you. It's about he just showed you what his opinion is of that girl. Right, or that woman, I should say. He showed you his opinion of her from the perspective that if he felt like she could be taken away by somebody who's attractive with their design stuff, clearly is affluent, you already know a lot about that relationship right there.
No, that's
why would you be insecure? So my point is, if you with a young woman and while you with her, somebody else passed by.
Yeah.
You driving up in your G-Wagon, he drives up in a Rolls Royce. You driving up in your Nissan Maxima, he pulls up in a Benz. Whatever it is, you got your nice outfit on, he got something even more expensive. You would not be worried about him in any way, shape, or form if you were secure in why she's secure with you.
Yeah. But
if you worried, it could be a reflection on you. It also could be a reflection on what your instincts are telling you about her that you refuse to acknowledge. A lot of times it's easier to point the finger at the other man than to own the fact I don't trust her.
I was just about to bring that up. Trust. I feel like trust is a big part of that.
It's a huge thing, and I'll tell y'all this, okay? A lot of times I'm teaching women, frankly, how to protect themselves from men who that don't deserve them. This conversation doesn't get had enough from the point of view of teaching young men, because I will say this, it wasn't until I start raising young men that I start to realize society raises y'all crippled when it comes to how to deal with women. Y'all are not taught how to communicate with your spouses. You're not taught about how they are taught to manipulate you. From a young age, a little girl is taught how to manipulate a man, from how to cry from her daddy to get what she wants. She's taught about how to use the silent treatment as a way to get you to respond. She's taught everything directly and indirectly to manipulate you. And then you wonder why when you are old enough to start dating them, they seem so confusing to you. They're confusing to you because they're working with a different game book than you working with. They got a whole different instruction. You showing up to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just being real about it. I'm being real about it. She doesn't have to have negative intentions, but that's the problem, you know? And I will say, maybe I feel different about this if I was the father of a daughter. But when I'm looking at these two young men right here, and I don't want y'all going out here hurting women by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want you taking advantage of women, but I definitely don't want you to be some simple man who's sitting out here being run ragged, being told that you only a good man if you spending your money, emptying your wallet, allowing somebody to manipulate you and treat you like anything, because it can lead to other things. Male abuse is a real thing. There's a whole lot of men out here who get financially abused, verbally abused, physically abused.
Yeah.
And it started with the fact that they were taught that somehow or another being a man is letting a woman be in control.
I feel like the issue with, because you mentioned physical abuse too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's more excusable for a woman to hit a man than it is a man. You know, I think both ways is wrong.
Completely.
But I feel like we excuse the fact that, you know, like just because she's a woman, she could hit me because she's a woman.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's in society. That's
absolutely. I remember I was driving down. Which street was I driving down? It was one of the main streets, like in like central LA, like I don't know, like Santa Monica or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a guy and a woman on the side of the road throwing hands. Like it looked like an argument that just blew up, right? She jumped out the car to walk away from the car. He went out to grab her. Next thing you know, they throwing hands, right? It was what it was. The cops got there quick as I don't know what. They may have been driving by and just saw it. Who do you think they yanked and pinned to the ground hardest first? Him. When I was looking at the fight, I can't tell who started it, but I can definitely tell that she was beating his ass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? She was tearing him up.
I think it's wrong both ways. I think the same way that I'm not supposed to hit a woman, I think a woman shouldn't be able to hit me too.
I agree.
You know? And
pay attention to that. If you gotta pay attention to those signs early, because rather it's men or women, people don't just start throwing their hands on you on day one. It's normally a lead up. So when she's screaming in your face. And she can't control herself. Look at how she treat other people in public that she don't know. Because if she can treat somebody in public that she don't know that bad, imagine how she gonna treat you. Okay? And this applies to men too. You know, look at that kind of stuff. You mad at her, you walking out the room because you trying to get away. Get back here, and she yanking you back. You see what I'm saying? Pay attention to that kind of stuff. I'll tell you the advice I gave to Marco about women. He had this advice. He said, what if I'm in a situation with a woman I'm dating and she get kind of out of hand? Like something had happened in the news where that had happened. He asked, what if that happens? You want to tell them the advice I gave you?
Yeah, so like, if you ever in a situation where you're in an altercation with your girl, one thing that you told me was to, first off, record the situation.
Yeah, that came out immediately.
Yeah, first off, record the situation.
Some evidence.
Yeah,
don't put it on live though. Don't go on no Instagram live.
Don't do no live.
It's for your own record.
Yeah, just for your own record. Don't even release it unless it's like, the police need it. Unless it's very important. But record. Make sure you record from the start. And first off, if she hits you, like once she hits you, it's raps. Like don't even deal with her no more. First off, don't deal with her. If she hits you, don't deal with her. But if it does come to that point where she's going crazy, she acting wild, record and leave.
And as you leave, and cross your arms. So what you doing is like this with my phone now. So you just go ahead. What you doing? I'm just making sure you and I are both safe, and I want to make sure we good. So that's all I'm doing. Yes, this is on. This is being recorded right now for both your safety and mine. Keep your arms crossed. No matter what she do, just move out like that. You move out the room like this. I don't care if your car keys, birth certificate, and social security card is sitting inside that house. Because at the end of the day, your behind will be sitting in a jail cell while she will be sitting there.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Not having as high a burden of proof as you.
That's facts.
And even in your efforts to push her away, some people say, well, it's okay to push her. You're a man.
Yeah.
Your push could be a lot harder on her. Now, some women are a lot stronger than you. Let's just call it. Okay, you got some girls out here
that can knock us
you
out.
out. I've seen it, okay, but still, in theory, you don't know. So with that said, you get out of that space, and she can say whatever she want to say, and you go forward from there. I believe that. I actually do believe that.
I remember when you gave me that advice. I was like, that's some real stuff.
It's real. I've been there before. I've been in relationships where, and this is back when I was drinking, which is why I don't drink, just because of the emotions that can come with this. One of the many reasons why I choose not to. I remember, getting into arguments and fights, and then you yelling, next, y'all up in each other's faces and stuff like that. And that passion can turn up a lot. Next, somebody just pushing somebody out the way, and next thing you know, hands is being thrown, scratches and fist marks and stuff like that. And both of y'all scratched up, both of y'all participate in this, but if the cops called him in a male-female situation, one of y'all may look worse than the other.
Yeah.
Not to say that women get away with stuff. Plenty of women have been prosecuted for this too. Plenty. But you end up looking worse.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. I will say this though. Everything I'm telling y'all and that we're talking about, and we'll continue these conversations, it's not about trying to make women out to be the bad guy, men out to be the good guy. It has nothing to do with that. It's about saying the only difference between a man and a woman is what's between y'all's legs at the end of the day. You should expect everything you give, right?
Yeah.
And expect nothing less. A woman is not anything to be won if she's not also trying to win you. Period. That applies to everybody. Gay, straight, male, female, it doesn't matter. She is not here to be won, okay? She is not a bill.
Yeah.
If you dating a woman and you feel as though, dang, this is expensive, then you dating the wrong one. Because at the end of the day, it should not be costing you so much money to go out. You got dudes out here going broke, just trying to keep up with dating some woman. Because why do some men do this? Let's talk about it. Because it's not that like, oh, these women are gold diggers. I don't think it's like that. Yeah. What I think it is that you have a lot of men out here who are deeply insecure. And so the only way that they know how to get a woman's attention, or that they believe is the best way to get her attention, is by spending money. And beyond that, it comes down to control. Because the fact is, I don't truly believe that I deserve a woman who looks like you. I don't believe I deserve a woman who thinks like you and who has a life like you. So with that said, in order to keep you, I'm going to use my money, because I view money as a control mechanism. That's why a lot of these men don't want women to make more money than them. It has nothing to do with, well, the Bible this. It has nothing to do with a man should this. No, it has to do with control, because you don't believe she would stay with you, because you don't believe you deserve it in the first place. All right? So you can't just blame the women.
Yeah.
You can't. Right? It's not y'all's fault. Although some of y'all do manipulate that weakness in men. Let's just call it thing and thing, because y'all are not unaware that some of these men are weak when it comes to that, are scarred or traumatized. It's not like that's not the case. I'm not gonna say they're all weak, but some are traumatized, And so with that said, they try to use that, that's a part of what you attracting too, when you stepping out like that.
That's real. And also, like, it could be like, I feel like when you do certain things,
You set the expectation.
Yeah, you
so
set the
like,
bar.
not only are you attracting those type of women, you're attracting that situation in a way, because you're putting that in there.
Anytime you give anybody everything that they want without them having any responsibility to give you anything in return, and by in return, what I'm talking about is love, support, trust, all those things that you need as a human being. Anytime you give anyone everything they want and there's not a price attached to it, there's no accountability attached to it, you're going to create a monster. You can turn the best person on earth into an absolute monster by giving them every single thing they want every time.
It's like spoiling a child almost.
Yeah.
It's like spoiling a child,
exactly.
because the more you spoil the child, the more expectation they set. You set the
Absolutely.
bar.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I see what you're saying with
And
that.
it goes the same way, because I know we have a lot of women who are watching right now. It goes the exact same way when it comes to what women do for men. Why are you cooking for him making his lunch, letting him drive your car, and y'all ain't even been out 3 times, so 3 months. You see what I'm saying? Why are you sitting up here letting this man get uninhibited access to your body? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this man, you don't even know if he's fully monogamous to you. Why? You know, you're giving him these things that he has not earned.
Yeah.
And that's going to do. That's going to create the expectation and sense of entitlement that he should have that and more, and he's going to keep on doing it. As human beings, we take everything that's given for us and we ask for more. I don't care who you think you are, you're going to do it.
I'm gonna enjoy that cooking.
Absolutely.
Enjoy that.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, y'all, we'll have more conversations about this. Comment below what other topics y'all want us to cover. I feel like, you know, might as well have some open conversations just because we have all these conversations all the time in the house. Like we were just talking about this last night, how I personally think that a lot of men are conditioned by society to undervalue themselves just for the attention and the affection of women, and then it often shows up in toxic ways. So that's how we got to this point. But nonetheless, comment below with any other topics you want us to cover. Have a good one, y'all.